Jimmy Dunne's 89th minute winner completed a deserved second half comeback for Queen's Park Rangers on Saturday afternoon after Rayan Kolli's 50th minute equaliser had cancelled out Preston North End's first half lead. North End forward Osmajic had been able to capitalise on an unfortunate Steve Cook injury 21 minutes into the first half, but Rangers battled hard to get back into the game and came away with a well-earned 3 points as a result. That makes it 3 wins in a row for QPR at Loftus Road, extending their unbeaten run to 7 matches and in turn sees them jump up 4 places in the league table to 14th. As usual, I'm going to break down this Rangers performance, so if you enjoyed this match reaction, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or follow and leave a rating if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. I'll also be including a short match preview for Swansea City on Boxing Day at the end of this episode, so make sure to stick around for that at the end. Cifuentes made 2 expected changes to his starting lineup for this one, with Ashby and Anderson replaced by Powell and Morgan respectively. But the benefits of a week off after 3 games in 7 days last week were felt arguably more so on the bench, with Clark Salter the latest of a long list of injuries to return to the matchday squad. Alongside Chair, Frey, Anderson, Morgan, Fox, our bench looked 10 times stronger than it did even a fortnight ago, so it was really reassuring to know that we had those options off of the bench if we needed them. So the match started with 3 strong QPR chances in the first 7 minutes, and ironically all 3 of them came from 3 of our back 4. Dunne was first up on 4 minutes, heading just over the crossbar from a strong Powell cross, and Steve Cook had a shot of his own blocked a few minutes later. Sandwiched between those 2 chances though was the clearest goal scoring opportunity of the lot, with Preston goalkeeper Woodman completely misjudging a prophetic cutback from Smith on the byline, leaving a late arriving Kenneth Powell with an open goal to shoot into, but he somehow instead found the crossbar. And the tide of the game changed a little bit after those early chances. It wasn't exactly that Preston were dominating us or causing us loads of problems when they were on the ball, but their use of wingbacks meant that we couldn't really break them down on the wings and we couldn't cut through their box midfield down the middle. But even still, their goal on 21 minutes came completely against the run of play. It was quite literally their only shot in the first half and one of just 2 in the entire 90 minutes. It started from centre-back Liam Lindsay heading the ball long down the left-hand side, which striker Osmajic picked up and tried to bend around Cook. Initially, it looked like he'd failed to do so and the ball would be dealt with routinely, as we've seen Cook do hundreds of times before. But out of nowhere, Cookie collapsed holding his leg, leaving Osmajic free to run in on goal and slot the ball past Nardi. Going a goal down really didn't matter at that point, because the bigger issue was that Steve Cook, an absolutely integral part not only of this run of form, but really any success that Martí Cifuentes has had during his time at the club, was down on the pitch rolling around in pain. Obviously at this early stage we don't know what the injury is or how long he'll be out, but it looks pretty serious on the pitch. The stretcher came out, he didn't need it in the end, he did manage to limp off, but it did not look good. It's just incredibly frustrating because we've had so many injuries this season, and just as one comes back you lose another. Only a few weeks ago we lose Jan Seller just as Frey is coming back into the fold. We just get Jake Clark Salter back for this match and then we immediately lose Steve Cook. I've seen some say that it was unsportsmanlike for Osmajic to go through and score that goal. I don't know about that personally. He was just playing to the whistle, there wasn't a foul involved, it was very unfortunate what happened, and you'd probably expect a QPR player to do the same and let the ref deal with it afterwards, which the ref didn't see a problem with it. I can understand that. It's just a very, very unfortunate situation. So Fox was the man pulled off the bench to replace Steve Cook, with him going into left centre-back and Liam Morrison shuffling over to right centre-back, which probably raised a few eyebrows at the time, but with Clark Salter only just coming back, it made sense that they didn't want to rush him in for practically a full game. And I have to say, Fox and Morrison did not put a foot wrong in their time together on the pitch, so full kudos to them. As I say, Preston managed just 2 shots in the entire game. So the game went on and QPR went about searching for that equaliser, and Jimmy Dunne was probably the closest of himself, Kolli and Smith on 25 minutes, when he headed an inch-perfect cross from Morgan, but Woodman did well to deny him at his near post. We didn't play badly in the first half, but Preston were compact, and although we weren't sloppy like we were against Bristol City or against Oxford, we just couldn't quite find the right opening. Well, there was that and the fact that referee Matt Donoghue absolutely refused to give a foul in favour of Queen's Park Rangers, at least until Lindsay gave him no choice after getting rather handsy with Paul Smith out on the left on the half-an-hour mark and getting the first yellow card of the game. I felt at half-time like we needed a couple of changes just to shake things up and get things going in attack, probably Frey and or Chair. But those weren't needed in the end because it took just 5 minutes for QPR to find an equaliser in the second half. After passing the ball back and forth sideways across the pitch in the first 45 minutes in search of that opening, the solution for Kolli's goal was deceptively simple, with Jimmy Dunne playing an excellent bending ball down the right hand side that Paul Smith latched onto in a dangerous space. That enabled Paul to get to the byline again just like he did 5 minutes in for Powell's potential opener, but his short cutback was this time calmly received by Rayan Kolli, who slotted it between Woodman's legs for 1-1. Just lovely stuff from Jimmy, lovely from Paul with his second goal involvement in 2 games, and particularly lovely from Rayan, who now with 3 goals and 3 assists has the most in the squad, despite the fact that he's played the second least minutes of any forward QPR player. It wasn't just a goal from him either. I haven't mentioned him, but he was drawing fouls, he was trying to link up play. Preston were trying to get on top of him, but he just kept going about his game. I'll keep saying it until it happens. QPR, please sort his contract out. Anyway, Rangers were pretty much completely dominant from this point onwards, and although we still had to graft away for Dunne's eventual winner, we had a few very strong chances before that to find it sooner. My requested double sub of Frey and Chair happened on the hour, and Chair nearly made himself an instant hero when he tried to flick in another very good Paul Smith ball, but that was sadly blocked. Samfield made me look a total fool 5 minutes later when Kieran Morgan expertly played his fellow midfielder into the box for a one-on-one with a keeper, which I was certain he was about to bend around him just like he did against Oxford United, and I was celebrating it as so until I realised he'd bent it around the post. Let's talk about Kieran Morgan though, because I personally think this might have been his best half in a Rangers shirt so far. Bear in mind this was a new role for the 18-year-old, playing behind the striker in a position that we've really not worked out what to do with yet, and it was one that he grew into excellently. He was covering ground, he was stitching play together, he was hassling, he was dropping in deep to help progress the ball. He was really, really good, and he made all the difference in this second half. And crucially, of course, he won the needless foul from Lindsay that earned himself a second yellow and saw the centre-back sent off on 83 minutes. That of course led to Woodman going down injured in his box and the remaining 9 outfield Preston players going over to the bench to have a chat with the manager, which is quickly becoming one of modern football's most irritating hacks. But thankfully, just like when Angus Gunn feigned injury 2 weeks prior, it came back to bite him pretty quickly. Paul Smith looked like he grabbed a goal to go with his assist on 87 minutes when he cut in and wrapped off a beautiful shot, but became the second QPR player to hit the crossbar, and he was then denied by Woodman once again 90 seconds later in the bottom right corner. But at the death of regular playing time, it was an Elias Chair and Jimmy Dunne team up that finally broke the deadlock, with the Moroccans looping cross out from that left hand side expertly nodded in by the Irishman for his 3rd goal of the season. Benny and Jake Clark-Salter came on for the 6 minutes of added time to see out the game, and soon enough, hi-ho silver lining was once again blaring from the speakers. Honestly, what a game, and weirdly, what a team we seem to be becoming. We have to remember this is a Preston side that was on just as long an unbeaten run before playing us as our own, and had conceded nearly as few goals as us as well. They didn't give up, they kept working really hard for one another, and the team that was actually interested in playing proper football actually got the result that it deserved. It's bittersweet obviously knowing that we lost Cook in the process of this one. He is going to be such a big miss, particularly in this busy festive period, but it is very reassuring to know that we were still able to grind out a good win despite the fact that he wasn't on the pitch. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked and he'll be on the road to recovery as quickly as possible. So let's take a brief look at Swansea City now, who are of course QPR's opponents away from home at 3 o'clock on Boxing Day. Luke Williams' side currently sit 2 points and 2 places above QPR in the table, after Saturday's 2-1 away loss to Hull City followed a 3-2 home defeat to Sunderland last weekend. Luke Williams of course returned to Swansea back in January as Michael Duff's successor, having previously served as Russell Martin's assistant manager until 2022, guiding the Swans from 15th at the point of his arrival earlier this year to 14th come the end of the season 19 games later. And so far this season, their inconsistency of 7 wins, 6 draws and 8 losses has them on track for a similar league finish. Swansea and Bristol City are the only 2 teams in the league currently to have a goal difference of 0, so I'm expecting a similarly organised side, but another that QPR can hopefully limit to few chances from open play. 25-year-old academy product Liam Cullen is currently top scorer with 6 goals and an assist. Jan Seller's Slovenian compatriot Jan Vipotnik has 4 goals after joining on a free this summer, while Brentford loanee Miles Pert Harris has 3 goals and an assist from the wing. Interestingly, this weekend's loss loss to Hull City was Swansea's first to a team outside of the league's current top 10. And until that result, they hadn't yet lost to a team below their current league position of 12th, so they'll definitely be eyeing this one up as a chance to get themselves back on track. Williams likes to set up Swansea in a 4-2-3-1 just like Cifuentes does, so just as we've seen over the last few seasons, I'm expecting another tight game against Swansea. So just as we've seen in the last few seasons, I'm expecting another tight game against Swansea. Now I have to mention at this point that QPR haven't won any of their past 4 Boxing Day matches, with our last victory a 3-0 home win against Ipswich Town in 2018. Hopefully then, with the form that we are currently in, we'll be able to channel that more so than last year's result. So I'm going to keep things positive again. I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win. As usual, let me know your thoughts about the Preston result in the comments below and your own score predictions for Swansea City. Thank you so much for checking in. As usual, I really appreciate your support. Merry Christmas, of course, to all who celebrate, and I'll hopefully see you again for my Swansea City match reaction. Cheers.